Hello, second grade leaders. Mrs. Estopanol here. Today, we're going to be working on adding our details to our flow map and then brainstorming our explanations and our tell me mores. So I'm going to start today by going back to my circle map and looking at the three things I circled. So I circled flavor, toppings, and shade. And now I'm going to take these three things, these three details, and I'm actually just going to turn the page over, and on the back side of my circle map, so here's my circle map. On the back side of my circle map, I'm going to go to the middle of my page. The hole right here kind of helps us find that middle of our page. And I'm going to put them in the middle boxes. So remember, it's the three things that I'm looking at. So I'm going to write flavor, toppings, and then shade. So I'm going to start by writing flavor first, and I'm going to box it up. And then I'm going to write toppings, and I'm going to box it up. And then I'm going to write shade, and I'm going to box it up. Now, friends, all I did was take the three words I circled from my circle map, and I put them in order. But I want you to notice that I only put one word in each of these, and that none of these words are a verb. A verb, my friends, are our action words. I don't want to use words in these boxes like walk or talk or anything that involves an action. I want to use adjectives, which are describing words, or nouns, which we're learning about this week too. So those people, places, or things. So I wrote flavor, toppings, shade. Those are my three details that I brainstormed about. But now I need to do my explanations or my tell me mores. I'm going to tell a little bit more about the flavor that I chose. And to do that, I'm going to write it right underneath the box. So the flavor that I chose was plain. And I can think about how it was tart, it was white, and it's one of my favorite flavors. So I can tell a little bit more about flavor. Under toppings, I'm going to write strawberries because that's the topping I chose. So when I got my ice cream, I got to put lots of frozen strawberries on top, and they were really yummy. So I can tell a little bit more about the toppings by listing what topping I chose. And for the word shade, I'm going to put the word cool below because I remembered that by sitting in the shade, my friends and I were able to talk for a long time because we were so cool. So again, I'm telling a little bit more about the shade. All right, now that I've written down my three details and my explanations, I need to add my transition words or phrases. Those are the words that help move the story along from one detail to the next to the next. So I'm going to start by using the transition word first. And on our thinking maps, we put those transition words right above our detail boxes. So I'm going to write first, then I'm going to write next, and last, I think I'm actually going to use the word after. Because after we got toppings, we went and sat in the shade, and it was really cool. All right. So now the last thing we need to do for today is rehearse my details and explanations out loud. This is a really important part of the writing process. It's an opportunity for us to hear how our stories sound, and it gives us the freedom to make changes easily if we don't like something. So I'm going to switch the screen to me, and then I'm going to practice going through each of my steps so you guys see how we rehearse. So let me switch my camera. Hi, friends. All right, so here's my elephant ears. The reason why we do elephant ears, honestly, is because in class, if we don't do elephant ears, we're all loud and it's hard to hear. But it's a good habit to get into because if and when we come back, we're going to want to put our elephant ears on. So I'm going to put my elephant ears on, and I'm going to be reading from my writing journal right here. Or excuse me, my writing notebook. So here's my elephant ears, and here's how I rehearse. First, I got to choose a yummy flavor. The flavor I chose was plain, and it was tart. That seemed maybe a little wordy to me. Maybe I could rephrase it a little bit. And I want to include my friends. I forgot to do that. So let me put my elephant ears back on. I'm going to rehearse that again and see if I can make it a little better. All right. First, We all chose a flavor. I chose the tart plain yogurt. Oh, I liked how that sounded better. So now I'm going to do my next detail. Next, we got to pick toppings. I chose to put sweet strawberries. Oh, I like that too. That sounds about right. And now I'm on to my third detail. So I'm going to say after, we chose a spot in the shade to sit. The shade helped us stay cool while we talked. All right. That's me rehearsing my story. Notice that the first time I read my first detail and explanation, or my tell me more, I didn't exactly like how it sounded. It sounded a little odd. So I tried it again, phrasing my sentences differently until I got it right. We're going to be rehearsing our story lots of times, or a couple times at the very least, during the writing process. And it's because it gives us the ability to make those tweaks and changes before we put it down in writing, and we have to erase to make those changes. So the more we tell the story aloud, and the reason why it's really important to actually say the words aloud is because then you hear it. And that's one of the ways our brains can check what we've written down. All right, so now it's going to be your turn. Your job is to go on and make a flow map using your 3 details. Maybe you chose the same 3 things as me, and that's absolutely okay. You can actually just go back and copy this exact flow map down. Flavor, topping, shade, and then your tell me mores. Notice though, friends, I only have 1 word in the box and 1 word on the line. That's really important. We don't want to write sentences. I'm not writing my story here. I'm just making my thinking map. And then don't forget that you need to add your transition words at the top. I chose the words first, next, after. You could choose some different transition words if they work better for your story. All right, when you're done, don't forget to snap a picture of this and post it on Seesaw so your teacher can see your writing for today. When we work together tomorrow in the morning, we're going to be working on writing our introduction and our conclusion. Happy writing, friends.